Today, a quick vid, well, hopefully a quick vid, on the solfeggio frequencies, because I find the maths around the frequencies really, really fascinating and it seems to have some very deep implications. So the solfeggio frequencies, for people who haven't heard of them before, are a set of pitches. So these numbers here represent the certain tonal pitches that it's believed were originally recognized as such in the 800s, I think. At any rate, the first Gregorian chant that we have, which has the six frequencies from 396, 417, 528, 639, 741, and 852. This is, of course, cycles per second, hertz. These six pitches, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, were used in a Gregorian chant in the 10th century by a Benedictine monk. And since then have been universally recognized as being pitches of significance. Since then, there have been 3 extra pitches added. I can't tell you who by. That's 174, 285, and this one at the top there, 963. Now, this actually completes a really interesting mathematical sequence, which, if you just bear with me, I'll explain. Now, it might look like, if you're looking at these numbers, that 111 has been added, but that doesn't quite work for a couple of these numbers. So it's easier to think of them as 3 separate numbers and each number is going up by 1. So 1 becomes 2, 7 becomes 8, 4 becomes 5, and it's a base 9 counting system. So the digits that are used are 1 to 9 and no 0. So as soon as you hit a 9, the next round that'll have to be a 1. So 3 becomes 4, 9 becomes 1, 6 becomes 7. So it's a base 9 counting system. You might think, well, why? Why is that of significance? Well, I wasn't really sure either when I first started reading and learning about this stuff. But another thing to note of these numbers is that each digit within the 3 numbers has a difference of 6. So 1 plus 6 is 7. 7 plus 4, you're thinking, is that a difference of 6? Well, you have to remember we're going just base 9 counting system, and every time you hit 9, you have to go back to 1. So 7, 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4. So that is actually in this system of counting, there's actually a 6-digit space between them. So same with this, 2 and 8, there's 6 between those 2 numbers, and then 8, 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 6 as well, so on and so forth. Okay, the other really interesting thing about this numerical sequence is that it loops. So once you get to the top, to 963 up here, you'll note that if the next number in this sequence, 9 would have to become 1, 6 would have to become 7, and 3 would have to become 4, which takes us back to the beginning, 174. So this 9 triple-digit sequence, it just loops round and round for eternity, if you like. The other interesting thing to note about these numbers is that each triple-digit number breaks down into a single digit, and those digits, well, let's add them up and see what they are. So 1 plus 7 is 8, 8 plus 4, you first end up with 12, but then 1 plus 2, so we're going to break them all down into a single digit, so that becomes 3. 2 plus 8 is 10, plus 5 is 15, so 15, so nice being able to write around the correct way, and 1 plus 5 equals 6. 3 plus 9 is 12, plus 6 is 18, then we break 1 and 8 breaks down to 9. So here we have 3, 6, 9. Now I'll just do it quickly if you keep going. 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 7 is 12, you'll see we end up with the same pattern happening. So we end up with 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9. 3, 6, 9, 3, 6, 9. Is this just some weird mathematical trickery, or is there more significance to it? Well, I didn't have any thoughts myself, but it turns out, and this I came across quite randomly, actually, interestingly enough, but Nikola Tesla, for those of you who are familiar with Nikola Tesla, he had his heyday sort of around a century ago and invented all sorts of stuff that was like way ahead of his time, and very mysterious. A lot of his inventions, the notes were destroyed or repossessed after his death by other people. At any rate, there was a lot of mystery and intrigue surrounding his work, but it turned out that he was quite obsessed with the digits 3, 6, and 9, and he used to write them all over his notes. He also was maybe he was slightly autistic or something, but he used to only stay in hotel rooms where the number of the room could be broken down to one of these 3 digits. He also used to circle a building 3 times before he would go in through the front door. So he was quite obsessed with the number 3 and 6 and 9 being multiples of 3. And he apparently stated at one point that whoever understood the significance of these numbers held the key to understanding the universe. The key to the universe, I think, was the correct quote. So fascinating. 3, 6, 9, there's some cosmic significance with these numbers, and this solfeggio frequency of pure tones that seem to have some kind of miraculous healing, generative effect on the physical body and the mind, all break down to these numbers 3, 6, and 9. What's the connection? Not really sure. Tesla also said something about that 3, 6, and 9 were the only truly that numbers not subject to the world of form, I think is what he said, which to me is remarkably interesting, because if you studied the Jewish Kabbalah, they believe that before there was form, there was 3 letters which correspond to numbers, which were the original Trinity, or the original triad of God letters, if you like, and it was Aleph, Shin, and Mem, I think, was the other one. And then they became, in the world of form, they became Yod, Hey, and Vav, which I think I'm going way off track here, but Yod, Hey, and Vav are the four Hebrew letters. Let me just write it quickly. The 3 Hebrew letters which make the name of Yahweh. So Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. There's 2 Heys. So Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey had the Yod, had the Hey, and the Vav, and that was apparently the Trinity in the world of form, the 3 sacred letters. So there was 2 sets of sacred letters, the Aleph, Shin, and Mem, and there was before the world of form, and then there was 3 once the world of form was created. So why am I even mentioning this? I think it's just this idea of this holy trinity of numbers. In Hebrew, all of the letters equate to numbers as well. They're not just letters, they're letters and numbers, and they have deep mathematical as well as philosophical significance. So we're coming back to this idea of this holy trinity with the numbers 3, 6, and 9. So if I've done a wheel here, and I didn't come up with this, but it's really interesting. If we put this base 9 counting system around a circle, and we put the trinity of the 9, 6, and 3 in the center, these other numbers 1, 2, 4, 5, 7, and 8 do actually have some interesting mathematical connection. when we're talking about just cell division, so we're talking about the creation of life, we start off with a single fertilized cell, which then divides into two, which then divides again, doubles. So we've got this number sequence where it's just doubling, and that's how an embryo forms, with this consistent doubling. And if you look at these numbers, 1, 2, 4, 8, as soon as we get to the double digits, if we want to break that down to a single digit, 1 plus 6 is 7, 3 plus 2 is 5, 6 plus 4 is 10, but then 10 breaks down into 1, so we've gone back up here, 1. 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 8 is 11, which breaks down to 2. So again, we've gone back to the beginning of the sequence again, haven't we? 2 plus 5 is 7, plus 6 is 13. So 13 gives us 4. And this keeps going. So you end up with 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. 1, 2 in recurring sequence. So if you draw that, if you connect those numbers, here we go. If we go 1 to 2, 2 to 4, so it's 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. Whoops, I missed it. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. 1, 2, 4, 8, 7, 5. We have this eternal sequence happening that just goes round and round and looks like a pair of butterfly wings. Also looks kind of similar to this idea, symbol for infinity. So I just think it's fascinating that and the only numbers that aren't used in this sequence are 3, 6, and 9. And Tesla said that these were the only digits that were not subject to the world of matter and form. So if we think about the creation of life as being, a process of division and multiplication, and that's what keeps everything going in the universe, an eternal universe of time and creation. But these numbers 9, 6, and 3 seem to exist separate to and outside of that system, like as if they were just these untouchable eternal numbers. So I can't really explain all of this. Obviously Tesla understood it better than I do, or anybody else does. But I think it's just fascinating. And when we look at this solfeggio tone frequencies sequence, I just quickly mention this at the end. So 285 corresponds to the root chakra, which is the base chakra in our 7 chakra physical body. So the root chakra. 396 corresponds to the sacral chakra. Sorry, this pen's not working well. Sacral chakra. 417, the solar plexus. Now, some people differ. Some people say that 528 is actually stimulates the solar plexus energy, but I just personally I prefer this interpretation because it just gives a single frequency to each chakra, and that feels really neat and tidy to me, and also agrees with that emotion chart that I did in one of my other videos by David Hawkins. So 528, we pitch that at the heart chakra level. Then we've got the throat chakra here, 639. Now, David Hawkins said that anything above 700 was a state of enlightenment, like if you were vibrating at that frequency. And interestingly enough, 741 corresponds to the third eye chakra. So that would make sense that once that was stimulated, which is supposed to be what happens when you achieve enlightenment, is your third eye becomes activated. And if 741, and he said above 700, was state of enlightenment. So that makes sense to me. This 852 was the crown chakra. That's the top of our head. And then this one, 963, the very end of the sequence, some people call the God frequency because it's far above and beyond what our physical body resonates at. So, and has some like superpowers associated with it. So this one down here, 174, it is below the level of vibration of the root chakra. David Hawkins said that, and in the emotional frequency chart, he said anything above 200 was a state of power. So obviously this one operates outside of the root of the chakra energy centers. But interestingly though, some people claim that this deep frequency of 174 actually has the greatest effect on the physical body. So that's interesting. So perhaps up this end, perhaps we're operating on affecting the the higher bodies, the spiritual and energy bodies, and this end maybe speaking more to the physical bodies. I don't know. I'm only just beginning my research and delving into all of this, but to me it is just absolutely fascinating, and I just wanted to share that little tidbit because I just thought it was super interesting.